Welcome to Fangirl Diaries. This is your fangirl host with the most, Danny. And let's get into today's entry. Lilia, we're taking it back to the 90s. I actually have no idea when this movie was released. I forgot to write the release date on our page. But it's a classic. I think it's the 90s. Heath Ledger had to have been a teenager in the 90s.
God, you're saved by 1 year. 1999.
That's what I said, the 90s. 99? Sure not 89? This came out right before the 2000s? How old was Heath Ledger? Look it up. You look up what year he was born, and then you subtract that by 1999.
20.
He was 20? He looked good at 20. Now I feel less like a creep for saying he looked good in this movie, because technically he's a playing teenager. R.I.P. Heath Ledger. Is that weird to say? I don't know. Look at him though, like he's pretty. It's funny because that is a line in the movie. Because I'm gonna mention it now because I'm already mentioning it. But at one point, one of the characters is like, "Cat apparently really likes pretty boys," and he goes, "Am I not a pretty boy?" And I'm like, "Damn right you are." He's definitely like, because I've been watching this movie since I was younger. He's definitely like one of the like my types. Like I want a guy like that. Because my type has always been really different. But the one thing I've always been attracted to is guys with long hair. And he's definitely contributed to that. Lily's like, what the fuck? We're doing 10 things I hate about you. Which is like, it's one of my more favorite teen movies. It's one of those like comfort movies that I love watching here and there. Which is funny because I hate William Shakespeare. And I mentioned this in our last episode. We did the Heart Killer. So we're doing this because we are doing, we did an episode on the Heart Killers, which if you don't know is also a Thai version of the Taming of the Shrew. And it's apparently loosely based on this because they do one scene from the movie in it. It is supposed to be the story of a guy trying to date a girl whose dad doesn't let him. So he has to get her sister to date first. It's like all over the place. But like, it's one of the most well-known adaptations of this script. Everyone knows that it's the Taming of the Shrew, but it's so well done that's like people sometimes forget. Or like they know and it's like just doesn't matter because it lives in its own headspace. It's kind of like Clueless. Did you know that Clueless is based on a Jane Austen book?
Who?
Clueless. The movie Clueless?
Based on a what?
Jane Austen. You don't know who Jane Austen is? She wrote Pride and Prejudice, Sensibility, Emma.
I have Emma. I never read it.
Okay, Emma. Clueless is based on Emma. Yeah. So
I'm in trouble for carrying that book around in 5th grade.
I bought a new copy of it in London. It's probably the most prettiest copy I've ever seen of this book. It only cost $5. I wish I bought more books while I was in London. But yeah, so that is what Clueless is based on. But so this is one of those things where it's like it's so well known for being an adaptation of a William Shakespeare play, but also it's like if you didn't know it, it wouldn't have mattered. But they do mention Shakespeare in it. I hate Shakespeare. We talked about this before, so I'm not going to mention it again. But much like that one musical, God, I hate Shakespeare. He's a hack. I hate him. So let's get into this. You know what's funny? I didn't finish watching this movie recently. I was trying to rewatch it to kind of refresh myself. This movie's really long. It's like an hour and 40 something, and I kept playing. I was like, I wonder if we're towards the end of the movie because we're going B for B, and there's like 40 minutes left. I'm like, what more do we have to say in 40 minutes? But it's such a classic. I love it. Most of my notes are literally just stupid things that happen, and like me being like, God, the 90s were weird. This is the movie that made me feel like the character of Katerina, completely iconic. She's an iconic character, but she's iconic in the sense of like, she's very much herself, but it's really clear that people around her find her annoying, and I found her annoying. But I also found that, like, if she was someone, like, who I went to high school with, I would have wanted to be around her because I would have looked up to her. Because she was very much, like, I'm not going to be what people expect me to be type thing. And I love that for her. Bianca was fucking annoying as hell, though. Do you know this has a TV spinoff? Yeah. Okay. Should I talk about that now? I guess. So it's kind of funny because it's there's a version of this movie. They turned it into a TV show. It starred, you remember the movie Camp Rock Remember the blonde one, Tess? She plays Bianca. Makes her more annoying. Do you watch Ned Declassified? So the main girl from that one, she plays Katerina. Still very annoying. If you've watched that show Succession, is anyone out there? I think his character's name is Cousin something. I don't know. But you've probably seen him in things. It's just like one of those faces that like, if you saw his face, you would know who he was. If you look up 10 Things I Hate About You, the TV show for Cameron. And then the guy playing Patrick Verona, he's a Nepo baby. No, but in a good way. He's in the new Star Trek series. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, but when he was younger, he was in American Ashley movie. What is his name? Oh my God, why am I blanking on his name right now? What is his name? Ethan Peck. He's in Stranger Things as like Spock. He was his grandfather is Gregory Peck, the guy who was in To Kill a Mockingbird. The one that I was telling you about, whose face you'll recognize, is the one who played Cameron, not him. The other one, him. No. To the left. To the left. No, to the right. There you go. Him.
Take it back now, yeah.
2 hops this time. He's done a bunch of things. I don't know if you recognize his face. Oh my God, I forgot he was in Princess Protection Program. He was in Sky High. You never saw Sky High? He's the one that glows in the dark. Okay, anyway. I will say the one funny thing about that movie is that they got the guy who played the dad to be in that one. So the older gentleman right there, the third one on the list, he plays the dad in the movie and in the show. And I just thought that was like really funny. He's the only one that came back, which like makes sense because they're still teenage girls in this. Trailing off. It's not great, but I love watching it. It's got like 1 season. You can find it on Disney Plus. Ethan Peck does a pretty good job as Patrick, but nothing will ever beat Heath Ledger, who was like iconic. But this was like typical like 90s. Like there's a coffee shop. It's got one of those scenes where they're describing all the cliques, and I'm just like, yeah. This is something you don't really see nowadays. I think the last time I seen a scene like that was like Mean Girls. And it was like, the only reason they did it in the musical version is because it's in the original. So it was like really weird. I didn't read the synopsis, did I? So I'm going to read the synopsis really quickly because it kind of gets to my point. So the synopsis is a modernization of William Shakespeare's comedy, The Taming of the Shrew, retold in a late 1900s American high school setting. The film follows new student Cameron James, who is smitten with Bianca Stratford and attempts to get bad boy Patrick Verona to date her, asocial sister Kat, in order to get around her father's strict rules on dating. It doesn't really follow Cameron. It kind of follows all of them. So I guess it does, but it doesn't. What's his name plays Cameron? Oh my God, what is his name? Can you look up 10 things? He's a face too. It's crazy whenever we do these things that like it'll be actors that I know really well and then I'll blank on their fucking names. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He plays Cameron. It's really funny because he's like such a baby in this series. If you look up a photo of him, he's got such a baby face. We start off following Cameron because it's like, right, he's a baby face. It is such a baby face. I love it. He looks like a toddler. He does. He's like a baby who like very quickly falls for Bianca because she's really pretty and everyone in school wants to date her, but you can't because I feel like this becomes a rule. This doesn't become a rule right away. It becomes a rule within the plot of the movie. Like we follow her and Kat at home, and Kat, she mentions this. I think this was something good that I haven't read the original play in forever. They make note that like Kat has changed. She used to be popular. She used to be like Bianca, and then suddenly something happened, and she is now not like that anymore. And it kind of looks that maybe they were close and now they aren't anymore. Their dad kind of makes this rule that if Kat doesn't date, Bianca can, which is crazy because, again, Kat used to be very social. I'm going to spill it now because it's kind of one of those things where I don't want to get too into it later after I forget this, is that so there's a character named, I think it's Joey. He's like the popular boy and he starts chasing after Bianca. It's very clear that he used to date Kat in private, and he basically, I think it's alluded that he assaulted her, and that, yeah. I will say this: when you read like Shakespeare stuff like this is put up for laughs and things like that because it's era, but like not in this, obviously. It's kind of stated that that's why she's very much like closed off, because this happened, and it changes you. It does. I've seen it with myself and stuff. And there's a scene later on in the movie where she goes to the party with Patrick after he like begrudgingly agrees to go out with him, and Joey like starts kind of like taunting her, almost being like, where's your sister? Not really taunting, but kind of like sees her and kind of uses the moment to be like an asshole. And she very much is like, leave my fucking sister alone. And when she spots Bianca with him, you know, she tries to allude like, hey, I have to tell you something that happened, and she won't. And she kind of like she gets drunk at the party because she's like, fuck it, if no one's gonna listen to me, then why should I bother? But it's kind of like funny in the sense of like, that's not even the reason, like to not jump around, but because we're talking about this. I didn't understand the one thing about this movie that like really confused me is that the reason Bianca no longer is attractive to Joey isn't because he does anything to her, which I guess is a good thing because it holds her innocence. It's because he's kind of a fucking loser. He's like trying to be a model. And like she comes to the realization at the party when she's finally able to like socialize with boys that he's kind of a fucking loser. He's like, which one of these headshots works? It's the same fucking headshot with him wearing a different shirt. And I'm like, really? She does tell Bianca what happens. Like she does let it know that she had dated Joey early on, and then they had sex. Maybe he didn't assault it. She like regrets it, but it kind of like feels like when you watch it, like it's like a big secret. I have to rewatch this again because it's just the way that she talks about it. It kind of seems like he assaulted her, but like not to like be like I am looking at the Wikipedia to try to, because I couldn't remember if she had told him or not. And it says here, Kat confesses to Bianca that she dated Joey when they were freshmen and succumbing to peer pressure, has sex with him, and then regrets it. Oh, it's because Joey dumps her in response to them having sex. But the way she talks about it, it very much alludes to like, oh, he might have assaulted her. So maybe it's one of those things where like that's confusing to me. Because like I only watched it halfway, but that's kind of a dick move. But I guess it's also one of the things where I'm like, it is kind of gross to, because I guess he would have done that to Bianca. Because I do remember her friend saying like, oh, he's planning on having sex with you. And then all this stuff goes out. It's again, the Taming on the Shrew is such a weird plot. So it's not going to be it's never going to be a perfect adoption. Well, this is a really good one, but whatever. This movie has so many iconic scenes, I will say that. Heath Ledger is one of those actors where it's like, it's really sad that he's no longer with us because he was so good at everything he did. Like, there's a reason why his Joker is so iconic. Because Patrick Verona is really, his Patrick is super iconic. It's hard to like kind of live up to that. Which is kind of one of those things where like I thought it was ridiculous when people were criticizing Dunk in Heart Killers for it. And I think I mentioned this when we did that episode, is that his character is not supposed to be Heath Ledger's Patrick. It's supposed to be a version of the character. He was saying Patrick, and I don't think that's the name of the character in the original story, but whatever. But I know Ethan Peck kind of tried to live up to it, but it's just not the same. Like he's very charming and not in a douchebag way. Like he is kind of a douche, but in the sense of like those two mesh together so well because they match each other's energy. He's very much not caring, and while she's very much like the typical stereotypical 90s feminist, it's kind of like they just match each other in energy really, really well. And I love that. This is a 90s movie, oh my God. Like the more I think about it. So just to kind of go back to the beginning of the plot. So Cameron comes to the school. He befriends this guy named Michael, and Michael tries to help him out in terms of like he used to be like within this like specific crowd, like he got kicked out, and now he's made a new friend. He's trying to help Cameron get with Bianca, and they themselves come up with this plan to be like, we have to find a date for Kat, and no one really wants to date her because she's Kat. And they somehow were going to get Patrick to agree, but the only way they know that they can get Patrick to agree is to pay him. which is kind of fucked. But they don't have money. So they enlist Joey to do it because they know Joey wants to date Bianca and Joey's got money. And then Patrick starts to fall for Katerina. And it's kind of fucked because you obviously know that she's going to find out and it's going to hurt her heart or whatever. But then, like, Cameron, it's kind of like a mess in terms of like them all fighting because you have Joey paying Patrick so that he can get to Bianca. At the same time, Cameron is using Joey to get to Bianca, but he's also learning French to teach Bianca so that he could try to get with Bianca. You know what I mean? It's like, this is so much going on. Like, it's like a square. Like, it's so much going on. It's just so funny. It is, by the way, it's like a whole like thing that I sometimes forgot. I forgot that the plot point was that he tricked the rich kid to pay Patrick to do this. Because then at one point they tell Patrick, they're like, actually, we tricked Joey to pay you so that you could actually help us get Bianca. And he goes with it. Which again, I think that's why his energy fits, because he's so nonchalant, like whatever. And you know, he starts to fall for Kat. This is what I mean. I've never cared much for the Bianca Cameron characters. It's always been the Kat Patrick ones because I barely remember any of their plot. I found them both to be like non-caring. Whereas I found, like, I'm gonna say it again and again, Kat and Patrick were just the better of the two couples. He starts to fall for Kat. Like he goes to. This is how you know it's very 90s, because only in 90s TV shows, you see this a lot in Buffy, they go to like a 90s teen club where they're like dancing and all that. And I'm like, we don't have those anymore. They're just not a thing. We should bring those back. We're not teenagers, but we'd make money bringing those back. And he starts to fall for Kat because he sees how lively she is and that she's not just this like hard shell. When she's in her element, when she's like in a place where she wants to be, she becomes more free. And there is a plot like where like her dad is their dad's very strict. Like she wants to leave the small town. She wants to kind of find herself out of this like this bubble that she's in, and her dad's kind of very against it because their mom passed away, so he's very overprotective. She wants to go to this college that's very well known for being more of a woman's feminist type college, and he's like saying no. And obviously, what happened to her in freshman year kind of affected her whole viewpoint of the world, this whole thing. But, like, having someone like Patrick, I think, kind of balances her out because she learns to have more fun outside of, like, these small spaces. He starts to get to know her. Like, she mentions how she wants to become a musician. She wants to play music. When she gets really drunk at the party, he gets kind of pissy at her for getting super drunk, but he still takes care of her. But then she has her moments where, like, I mentioned earlier that I found her annoying sometimes, is that she was a very angry character. But you could relate to that because I see myself in that. She's kind of her own worst enemy, and she kind of has to learn to, like, not be. And that's more breaking out of show. So they go to the party, and I mean, they're teenagers. We had I didn't have hormones like this when I was a teenager, but, you know, she tries to basically, I think she kisses him, and then, like, she kind of, like, tries to get him to, like, sleep with her. And he refuses because consent is key. And he basically tells her, like, not right now. And it's not like he's saying, like, I don't want to sleep. I don't want to be with you in that way. It's very much like she's not thinking straight and he doesn't want her to regret it because he knows she will. And it's been proven because it's happened in the past. We know it. She knows it. And she gets really angry at him. There are many points where she gets really angry at him for things. I think I saw myself in that. And it's not because, like, it was more because she didn't want to prove that she was wrong in herself. So her getting angry at him for not wanting to, like, kiss her or like, fool around is because she knows deep down that they shouldn't because she's not thinking straight. Or he invites her to, like, the prom, and she's very against things like prom because it's such a, like, you know, anti-event, like, such a old ways time thing. I don't want to go dance and throw myself into, like, this social, you know, like, I can't think of the word, but you know those, like, speeches these types of characters make where they're like, I don't want to do what society thinks I should be doing because I'm different. And, like, that's basically what happens, that she gets mad at that. But it's like, he wants to take you to a dance. It's not a big deal. You know how he feels about you, how he sees you. Why are you getting so angry? But it's true. She's her own worst enemy. But she learns to fix that, you know. She learns to better herself. The downside is that eventually she does find out that he was being paid. And it kind of gives her that, like, I was right. I knew all along that you didn't really care about me. But it turns out he fell for her throughout the because he had a reason to hang out with her. And I believe he actually uses the money that he got from all this to buy her a guitar, which shows that he listens. So it's a journey mainly for Bianca because Patrick, I think what Patrick just learns is that, actually I don't know what he learns. He learns that he likes a girl and that she's not a hard ass. She reads a play, so she kind of recognizes, she reads a sonnet, so they get an assignment. By the way, she has this one teacher who I assume she really likes because he kind of challenges everyone else around them. But then she gets in trouble with him a lot because she talks too much. Again, because she can be really annoying. And he assigns them to write a sonnet because they're learning Shakespeare. And she gets really excited. And he goes, what comments do you have? And she goes, no, I'm actually really excited to do this assignment. And he is so surprised. The teacher's so surprised to hear her speak so positively that he still is like, get out. She's like, what? Like, get out. I'm like, fair. But she writes this sonnet called 10 Things I Hate About You. And it's kind of really iconic because it's like, I hate the way that you make me feel. I mean, actually, I wonder if I could look it up. I feel like what I'm doing is I'm talking more about Kat and Patrick. And then I'll go to like talking about Bianca and Cameron because there's not a lot to talk about when it comes to those two. But yeah, she's got lines where it's like, I hate the way you talk to me and the way you cut your hair. I hate the way you drive your car. I hate it when you stare. I like this line. I hate your big, dumb combat boots and the way you read my mind. Oh, I hate you so much. It makes me sick. It even makes me rhyme. That's so fucking cheesy. But it's cute. So it like she pours her hat out. And I think that's when they both realize that like, they really do have feelings for each other and that they could work this out. So it's a journey. Not of the other two. I didn't give a shit about them. It's kind of dumb because one, he picks this elaborate scheme, which, by the way, it's fucked up. It's fucked up in any way that you do it. And I think Heart Killers is better because it comes more fucked up when you watch Heart Killers. But, like, in the terms of this, you're paying a boy to take out a girl who very clearly just wants to be left alone. Realistically, Kat just wants to be left alone. And it's kind of just fucked up that, you know, you're invading this girl's personal space because you want to get into her sister's pants. Now, to be honest, Cameron actually does want to date Bianca. It becomes very clear that he really has feelings for her. But, like, he knows that every other guy around them wants to get into her pants. So it's kind of ridiculous. And Bianca kind of goes with it. And she starts falling for him because you know what I didn't get by this one scene? So her dad is very much against them dating to the point where like, to the point where like, I didn't understand how Bianca snuck Cameron into their house to go invade Kat's room. Like they were just alone in the house for such a long period of time. And mind you, this is before like you could put a security camera in the houses and stuff that I'm like, how did they not get caught? Like, girl, you could have brought a boy over whenever. You just had to be sure to time it when your dad comes back. Because their dad's a doctor, so he's like an OBG, so he births babies, and that's kind of the other reason why he doesn't want them to date, because he's like afraid they'll get pregnant. I'm not kidding. Early in the episode, in the movie, he goes, you know what I did last night? I delivered a baby to a 13-year-old girl. And you know what she said to me? And then Bianca responds, I shouldn't have gotten knocked up by my crackhead boyfriend or something along those lines. And he goes, no. I wish I would have listened to my dad. I'm like, bullshit. Even they say, like, bullshit, that's what happened. But he's, like, obsessed with the idea of, like, oh, my God, my girls are going to get pregnant when they're teenagers. That he makes them wear, like, a fake pregnancy belly before she goes out to the dance. It's fucking ridiculous. But it's funny because then Patrick sees it and he goes, who knocked up your sister? I can't remember if they do that in the sitcom. And I hope they did because it's such a funny scene. But, Cameron realizes that Bianca is struggling with French and decides to tutor her. Homeboy does not know how to speak French. And it's funny because she's a conceited teenage girl, right? So she falls for Cameron at some point and they go to a part. After she was Joey's kind of a jerk. But and Cameron calls her out on it. Like, I've liked you for all this stuff. I don't just like you because of your looks, because I think you're caring and I defended you from everyone else. And then she falls for him, but he takes forever to actually ask her out, to the point where because he takes forever to ask her out to the prom, she decides to go out with Joey. Like, I'm sorry, didn't you just say that he was annoying? It's like, why are we going back and forth? And that's when she finds out from her quote-unquote friend that Joey wants to sleep with her, and Kat tells her, and we get to the ending where they all reconcile and they all get together, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, teenagers are weird. It's a very, like, convoluted, like, it's kind of crazy because it's kind of all over the place. It was getting to the point where I was like, this is a lot going on here. And I love it and I hate it, and I'm like, whatever. But it was still a lot of fun film. I will say there was one moment in this movie that kind of fucked me up when I forgot this happened. Kat turns her teacher into a sex offender. Yeah. So one of the most iconic scenes in this movie is when they have a stairway area, like a giant bench area outside of the courtyard. They do this in the Heart Killers. You kind of see something similar to it, which is why I'm saying it's so iconic to this one specific film. I should write this down so I remember it. But Patrick starts to sing the song. Oh my God, what does he sing to her? Oh my God, Lilia, what does he sing to her? Tell me, Lilia. Tell me. He sings I Can't Take My Eyes Off of You by Frankie Valli. And he gets detention because he like causes a big commotion. He gets the band to play it, and it's this big thing. It's really cute. It's like one of those scenes where Kat was like, oh my God, I can't believe this to me. So she goes to break him out of detention. And how she does it is that the guy doing the detention is their soccer coach, their gym coach, whatever. And she starts talking to the gym coach about what they need to do to improve the soccer team, while basically telling Patrick to jump out the window. And right as the coach is about to look towards where she's looking at the window, she pulls up her shirt and shows the teacher her tits. My dude is now a criminal, and it's not even his fault. Because that makes him a criminal. He has to be put on the sex offenders list. It's kind of crazy that the shit like this could be done in movies, and you kind of not realize that like homeboy has to put himself on a sex offender list, I think, now. Because technically I think she's 18, but still she's a high school student, he's a teacher. I think he would have to put himself on a list or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that happened, and I was like, what the fuck? It was crazy. And then they do the paintball scene, and that's the other most iconic scene. They go and play paintball, and it's cute. But I just thought it was so crazy how 90s this movie is. And it's kind of crazy. I hate Shakespeare, but I really love this movie. Oh, I really enjoyed it. The cast is great. The music is great. They have one really iconic song that it's going to be our song of this episode, so I'm not going to mention it now. But it's really well acted. It's really well filmed. The settings, the outfits, everything's just really great. It's one of those things where I feel I don't have to tell people to watch it because it is on a list of teen movies from the 90s that everyone should see. It's one of the greater ones. It's the TV show is another story. I wish I would have rewatched the TV show so we could have done a whole thing on that. But it's a much longer version of the movie. It kind of expands the story more. There's more scenarios, and they change up a lot in terms of Bianca has a friend in this, and then in the show they're not friends. They're kind of enemies, which I thought was dumb. Oh, Kat in this she has friends, and she has one friend, and this is how they kind of wink that this is a Shakespeare adaptation. Her friend is obsessed with Shakespeare. She's a very big fan of Shakespeare, to the point where Michael, Cameron's friend, invites her to the prom by giving her a dress that's very Shakespeare-esque to wear to the dance. And I thought that was really cute, which is crazy because he's a fucking annoying character, but it was really cute. So yeah, I guess that's kind of the end. There's not really much to talk about other than that. This is such one of those films that I think everyone has seen. I kind of just wanted to do it because we're going to do we've done the Heart Killers, and I just thought it was so funny that this movie has become so iconic that all the way in Thailand they took bits of it to put in their Taming of the Shrew adaptation. And I feel when you look at the characters in Heart Killers, they kind of feel more like the characters on this one than they do. Not to say that's beat for beat, because Cameron and Style are so not one and the same. But Bison and Bianca are very much they're it's very similar scenes. There's a scene where Bianca is getting information for Cameron to give to Patrick, and it's in her room, and they're looking at things, and she's like analyzing, and Bison kind of does the same thing. But that's not in every adoption. But I don't know. It just felt like very similar. Like he's not super bratty. He's kind of more crazy, but like she's very bratty. They keep that in there. But I think the best connection out of the four when it comes to that adaptation, this one just to compare it, I think Fadia very gives off Cat vibes in that he is his own worst enemy, much like her, and he has to learn to kind of forgive himself and to just live his own life. And that's what she does and she needs to do, because you can't just go off to college feeling there's so much bitter in your heart and all that. But it's great. So yeah, this is a short one. My rating. I almost forgot. Thank you, Lily. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. It's a very 90s movie. That one scene with her showing off, herself to her teacher really fucking threw me off. And there were times where like I kind of forgot certain plot. I really kept forgetting that Joy was the one paying for Patrick to like take her out, and it was just little bits and pieces there. It's not a perfect movie, but I still enjoy it a lot, and it's one of those movies where I'll just pop it on the TV and like just have it as background noise. So it is going to be a 7 out of 10. It is great, and I love it, and I love that it stands the test of time. It is so iconic, and yeah, song of the week. So the song of the week is going to be this iconic song from the soundtrack, I Want You to Want Me by Letters to Cleo, who are actually in the film. So there are many scenes where you'll see like a rock band playing. It is the one that sang the theme to this movie. So that's a really cute little subtle thing. It's super iconic. You can find the version from the film on Spotify. It's up there. It's great. And yeah, this was like a little tidbit, a little like short episode. So yeah, and I guess we'll see you guys next time with whatever the hell we do next. Bye. All right, guys, that's it for this entry. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media accounts. On Twitter, you can find us at FG Diaries Pod. On Tumblr, TikTok, and Instagram, you'll find us at FG Diaries Podcast. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hope you all have a wonderful fangirly day.